Hello. Last week you will have received by email quite a lot of information about the outcome of the people process that we've been through over the last month or so. There's a lot of change in there, and I acknowledge that. And a number of people that you know are going to be leaving the organisation through this process to go on to the next phase of their careers. But this process really has been about giving effect to the merger, and this is what traction in a merger like this really feels like. I acknowledge that it's quite unsettling, but I also believe that you will now be able to see the beginnings of a fantastic new organisation and a really strong and courageous and thoughtful team of leaders. Many of you will now have a different person to whom you report, and hopefully you've either met them or you shortly will be meeting them. And look, really, those people are wanting to come along and understand you, to get to meet you, and to really know what support you need to do the job that you do as best you possibly can, and your thoughts about how we take our new organisation forward. So yes, it's an unsettling period, but also it's an exciting time. It's the beginning of something. So now I'd like to introduce you to the new executive team. First up is Nigel Jones, who's going to be in the role of Head of Finance. Nigel is the CFO of Community First International, where he's been for a number of years, and before that he worked with HBF and has a lot of experience in the finance and governance space. Secondly is Louise Forster. Now Louise will occupy the role of Head of Brand and People, which is a critical role to the strategic development of our organisation. Louise comes from Care Options, where she was Executive Manager of Business Development, and has a wide range of experiences right across the social sector in Australia and overseas. And finally, someone that you may not know is Megan Enders. Megan is a management consultant and previously an executive in a number of different corporate services roles, and she'll be Head of Enabling Services. Megan played a role in the early strategic work when I first started, and I'm really excited to welcome her into the new organisation. So here's an image of the new organisation structure with people in those roles. You'll notice that there's a vacant role, Head of Customer Operations, and this is an absolutely critical role. It really is the core of our organisation, the delivery of services to our customers, to our clients. In the short term, I'm going to be acting in that role and working closely with the service delivery teams and the managers and leaders in that area. And my main priority there is to understand what you need to deliver great services continuously to the best of our ability. And over time, I will be filling that role through an external recruitment process. There's one other role that's vacant, and that's Head of Innovation, Integration and Transformation, and I'm not going to be filling that role in the immediate term. The merger integration project component, as you can see, is a short-term role that we will be appointing externally in due course. I would really like to acknowledge the fantastic contribution made by the 3 CEOs of our predecessor organisations, all of whom have chosen to move on. I wish them the absolute best in their next phase. And equally, there are a number of other leaders across our organisation who have elected to make a move, and I really do wish them the very best. So what now? I'd like to talk to you about what I see as the key short-term priorities for our organisation.
So our first priority is to ensure that customer operations teams can continue to deliver excellent services, both the services that we are currently delivering and the way that we currently deliver them, and also readying ourselves for other changes such as the imminent rollout of WA-NDIS commencing 1 July. Secondly, we need to make sure that we settle people into their new roles, their new groups and their new reporting lines. There are still some things to be finalised, some details and some changes, and that needs to be an ongoing priority for managers across the organisation. Thirdly, by early July, I want to have discovered, defined and launched our new shared identity and brand. This is a really important philosophy that we can all rally around as we go forward. The fourth priority, and this has already commenced, is to agree a broad digital strategy for MergeCo and exactly how that's going to roll out over the coming years. The fifth priority is to complete any agreed quick win integration projects. Some things are already underway, such as the finance IT project, and there will be some others that can be completed in the next 2 to 3 months. And finally, we need to create our shared plan for 2017-18, which includes goals, our budget and the merger integration plan for that period. So I think they are the short-term priorities over the next 2 to 3 months, and they're really important foundations for our organisation going forward.
So this is all about getting ready for the changing world. And on that note, it's really exciting to talk to you about some highlights that have occurred across our group just in the last few weeks. Community First International has just been awarded a number of innovation grants thanks to the WA Primary Health Alliance in the mental health space, which is a fantastic and important domain for us to be working in. A story about care options cultural transformation has been published in an online journal with global reach, and that's something really worth celebrating. And finally, Volunteer Task Force went along to Garden Week with its Imagining Possibilities Waterwise Garden and won Best in Show. And that's really what this is all about. So thank you very much for being part of this journey, and I look forward to catching up with you around the place.